Tonight on Environmental Hazards Nightly, we are going to bring our viewers back to 2011, when Rio de Janeiro had one of its most devastating floods in its history.
Heavy flooding in Rio de Janeiro state in Brazil has forced more than 3,000 people from their homes.
The authorities have been pretty much overwhelmed. This came out of the blue. They weren't expecting it. They knew there was going to be heavy rain, but they didn't expect this extent of death and destruction.
Thousands left homeless and hundreds dead. More on the story with news reporter Justin and flood victim Jose.
Hello, my name is Justin for Environmental Hazards Nightly. Tonight, we have a special guest with us to talk about the 2011 Rio de Janeiro flood. Here's Jose, a man who has experienced Rio de Janeiro floods firsthand. Tell us, Jose, what was the flood like in Rio?
Foi horrível, carros se transformando em barcos, muita gente morrendo, deslizamento de terra, foi um terror imenso.
Sounds very dangerous. What made this 2011 flood worse than previous ones?
Acho que pegou muita gente de surpresa, a época que foi durante o Natal, muita gente em casa junto, então acabou que quando a terra caiu, estava todo mundo dentro de casa.
I've heard that there are neighborhoods in Rio de Janeiro called favelas. Can you tell us more about those?
As favelas são uma das maiores partes do Rio, muita gente mora lá dentro, são partes que não foram clamadas pelo governo e acaba que não tem como se desfazer disso hoje em dia, muito crime envolvido lá dentro.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Jose. To learn more about favelas, please check out this cartoon, animation created by local artist Victoria Chiriboga.
The Brazilian cities of Nova Friburgo, Teresópolis and Peresópolis are all located in hilly country, which is more vulnerable to mudslides resulting from heavy rainfall. On January 11, 2011, rain began to fall on the region. It continued for days on end, offering no respite to the region's inhabitants. The rains affected millions of people, but the group that was perhaps most dramatically influenced were those living in favelas. A favela is another word for a slum, and is basically an informal, unregulated settlement built by the impoverished and marginalized. It is estimated that between 6 and 11 million people live in these informal establishments. They are often built on steep slopes on land that no one else wants to use. The buildings aren't regulated and are stacked haphazardly on top of one another, often without deep foundations. They are sometimes built with scrap materials such as wood panels, plastics, and sheets of metal. They are built on unstable ground and the neighborhoods are overcrowded, so if a flood comes, many people are vulnerable. There is also a general lack of infrastructure, such as electricity and sanitation services. When the rains came and kept coming for days on end, the structural sanctity of the buildings was compromised and many were washed away, collapsed, or were buried in mud, taking their inhabitants with them. Favelas are vulnerable to heavy rainfall because being built on the sides of mountains, they are directly affected by orographic lift. This occurs when air is pushed upward as it travels over rising terrain, causing it to cool. This rises humidity, creating clouds and eventually precipitation.